definitely don't think we need a rebuild. We have got some good players.
But we still need a minimum of 10 new players coming in, and I can't see Berger staying. They're going to come back for them in the summer, so we're going to have longer to replace him. I can't see Berger staying.
If we do go down, I'm getting full rant mode now. If we do go down, Walters needs to be sacked because I feel like half of the situation this season's been created by him tooling around with the manager.
We needed to win tonight, and it's a good job that we did, really, because if we didn't, I think we'd have been panicking a lot more.
Hello and welcome back to another podcast episode of Stoke Fan TV with myself, Max.
And me, Sam.
That's right, and tonight's special guest joins us all the way from down under, all the way from Australia. Martin, welcome to the show. What brings you all the way back to Stoke Fan TV from Australia?
Oh, it's just the love of chatting to other Stoke fans, particularly after a game like tonight. So, g'day, guys. That's about as good as the Australian accent gets.
Well, that was about to be my next thing. You sound quite Stoke-esque to be living in Australia, obviously. I'm guessing you were from Stoke originally and then you've gone over to Australia, but you've continued to support the Potters. Is that correct?
It's a bit of a story, yeah. I've supported Stoke since I was 12. It's never stopped. I actually lived in India for 5 years, moved there in 2003, then moved to Australia in 2008, which was ages ago, obviously. And sure enough, yeah, you get one of these accents, guys, and it sticks. So get used to it.
But as well, you just before we delve into Stoke's miraculous win tonight, and also obviously our loss to Coventry, which we'll have to talk about as well. The Stoke City Australian supporters group, is that right? Did you've set one up? Is that correct?
Right, yeah. So the club's got this concept of overseas supporters branches, I think they were called at one point. And to be honest, pretty much any group of Stokies who are abroad can band together and start a club like it's a little supporters club. The general idea is, you get together, you watch the games, and you act as like a touch point for the club as well. So if people from, say, Australia, for example, are coming over, I can arrange for tickets for away games and that kind of thing because obviously we won't have the points because we're not regularly going to away games. And yeah, the club look after the overseas supporters when they come over, so I just act as, like I say, a bit of an outpost really. So yeah, so it's good. I mean, it's challenging in Australia because of the time difference. It's hard to
Mm.
get people to go out to the pub in the middle of the season at 2 a.m. in the morning. But
Yeah.
at the start of the season when it's midnight and towards the end when it's midnight because the clocks move closer, it's not too bad. So yeah, it'll be better when we're back in the Premier League and all the games are live in all the pubs,
Oh,
and
blimey.
you can even watch the recording. You can hide away from the world and meet in the pub and watch the recording and have a few drinks at 10 o'clock in the morning.
But yeah, well, I suppose that's the double-edged. It's a double-edged sword, I suppose, because you can't go out and celebrate and watch all the games when we win, but when it's miserable and we're going away to some of the to Oxford and getting beaten, you don't get all the stick from all the other fans, do you? I suppose out in Oz.
This is
How many's in your group out there? How many have you got in your supporters group out in
I mean,
Australia?
I set up a Facebook page a little while ago, but that's got hundreds of people who are following it. But then there's a lot of random people out there on the internet. So I'm gonna say there's probably like 50 to 100 people who are actually from Stoke who are following that page.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd say probably about 20 to 30 people I've been in touch with directly for things like tickets and stuff.
Well, I'm super chuffed you're joining us. This is one of the reasons that Sam and I started this, isn't it, Sam? To get
Yeah, it's
fans
great,
from
isn't it?
connecting, yeah, to get fans connecting from all over the world. And this new
We had a
format,
chat from
obviously,
Canada last week, didn't we?
we had a chat from
You do.
Calendar, yeah, a chat from Calendar, a chat from Canada called Alan. That's what we're getting there in the end. Yeah, he joined us not so long ago, and now I say we've got yourself coming from Australia. So if you're watching this and maybe you live in Australia, you can find the Australian Stoke City Supporters Club on Facebook. In fact,
That's
we'll try and link to it in the description, I think, won't we? We'll try and link to it in the description, and you can click on it and you can join it, and then you can touch base with Martin, and you can go and watch Stoke play Millwall at 1:45 in the morning, and scream at the TV, and all the Aussies are going, what are they on about? Right. Anyway, we will get into the show now. We must get into the show. So, two matches. Both I thought were, well, I think every match now from now until the end of the season is massive. But it's a loss to Coventry and it is a win against tonight's opponents.
wow.
So Blackburn, which means that we are a step closer, but it's still, I think, squeaky bum time at times. Am I right? What do you think, What do you think, gentlemen? I'll throw it over to Sam first because you've been awfully quiet, Sam. I'll throw it over to you. I know it's the time difference, Sam, and we're obviously able to film this late at night. But are you all right?
Yeah, I've been looking at the results last night. I think last night there was quite a few shocking results, really. Derby getting a win. That was a bit of a result that we needed to keep an eye on. Other teams, Luton getting a win.
Mm.
We needed to win tonight, and it's a good job that we did, really, because if we didn't, I think we'd have been panicking a lot more.
Well, that's right. Yeah, I think Luton. Well, Luton beat Cardiff, didn't they?
Yeah,
Luton beat Cardiff. Was it 2-1? And then
yeah,
obviously
spot on.
What's that? Something's happened with Derby. What's gone on there? That's two. That's two wins in two for them now.
John
Yeah,
Eustace has
two
got.
wins for Derby.
And then
So
have Plymouth won tonight?
Plymouth tonight played Portsmouth 2-1 win.
Right. So it's well. I mean, what do you think, Martin? Do you think it's going to be a scrap between all the teams all the way up to Pompey till the end of the season?
Yeah, I do. I'm a bit concerned, I have to say. It reminds me of last year, really, where towards the end, all these teams that have done nothing all year suddenly wake up and start winning. I'm not sure about Derby. I heard that John Eustace went there recently, obviously ex-Stoke player back in the day. Yeah, it always seems to be like this. Like the teams at the bottom wake up towards the end of the year. It happened last year. Luckily, last year we went on a run randomly, didn't we, under Schumacher, and probably had the best form that we'd had all season, which pulled us straight out there. Fingers crossed that's what happens over here. I mean, the performance was good last week against Coventry, good tonight. So fingers crossed, but it's not going to be easy. There's going to be many more nervy nights like tonight, or mornings in my case.
Well, let's start with tonight's game. We're filming this at something like 22:11 UK time. And the game's literally after the 3 hours added on stoppage time that the ref decided he was going to add on as well, I must add. What do we think of tonight's game, chaps? I'll start with you, Martin. What were your thoughts on tonight's game?
Um, I thought the first half was great, to be honest. Like, I love the fact that Stoke were overloading the box at times, taking a risk, which was really good. Um, I also liked how they were trying to get in Blackburn's face. Like, they like, if you look at, I mean, I get the joy of replays, right? Because I'm watching it down here.
Mm.
But then when their player, I don't know what his name is, started having a go at Shamadou started it. And you can see
Yeah.
as well, you can see also one of the challenges where Berger is leaning into this play and he's looking out the corner of his eye to see where he is. So Stoke were trying to wind them up. Blackburn were falling for it. The crowd were getting behind them, and it was all just unfolding perfectly. Reminded me a little bit of Stoke of old under Pulis, when, that's what we were. We weren't the pretty team, we were the rough
Mm.
and ready, So I love that. I love the fact that I feel like Robbins has gone, go out there and wind them up, go out there and, give it to them because they were proper reacting to it. So yeah, I thought the first half was good. We deserved to be in the lead. It was an amazing save by Johansson, that fingertip
Mm.
save. probably not as great as the one the second half. It just keeps getting better with that guy, to be honest. He's unbelievable. And yeah, so that save kept us in the game. And then the second half was much more like grind out a result. I had to wonder about Sam Gallagher because he was trying to defend and kept giving the ball to them all the time, which was a bit of a which wasn't helping my nerves. But no, it was good. I mean, we saw it over the line. It was bodies on the line, and crowd got behind the team. I wish I was there tonight because like I say, looking back because we've won, I can say this now. I enjoyed it, but yeah, well played, Stoke. What do you reckon, guys? Sam?
Go on, Sam. What do you think, mate?
Yeah,
Do
that's
you
okay what Martin said. Obviously it was a good goal. Good work from Lewis
break on?
Baker and a good finish by Al Hamady for that one.
Mhm.
Excellent save by Victor Johansson, as Martin said. The only other thing, what about Millie and Manoof? Do we think he was a little bit off the pace tonight?
Well, that's good. Well, yeah, exactly. Let's start with the positives. I mean, let's start with the most positive, or the most miraculous thing I will say, which is Johansson again. He's pulled off more miracle saves. He's some keeper, isn't he? We've got to keep hold of him. No pun intended. But like I mean, he is, isn't he? I mean, tonight just showed. Thank God we've got Johansson because I mean that one where he dives and he pretty much going backwards and he managed to basically claw it out. I mean that takes some doing. So I think Johansson, massive credit to Johansson. Going forward, Baker's goal, Baker's pass for that goal for Al Hamady at the back post. I mean, superb. I thought that was excellent, and I think there was a more urgency tonight to to stop the runs, to stop the crosses coming in, to get your body in front of the ball when they're attacking, which was my biggest criticism of Stoke against Coventry at the weekend. And tonight, I thought we did well. What I don't like, I'll agree that there was a nice bit of winding up going on. I tell you what, I can't abide though is this rolling around with your hands on your face. I can't deal with it, man. And there was a couple of times as Boca on the left back and Chamadou on the right back, and I think someone flicked him in the face, and that was oh man, my face has gone. And that for me, that's where Stoke need to, I think, move on from that. Go back to when some of the players like Hoof and etc. And they've got blood like dripping down the side of their head, and they're like, "Oh, it's just a bit of a flesh wound. Let's crack on." Do you know what I mean? I think we need to go back a little bit to that. But yeah, it was positive tonight. You mentioned Million Manoof there. He is a little bit off the pace slightly, and I think he needs to learn how to use his right foot. What do we think, chaps? Does he need to learn how to use his right foot a little bit?
He's really good with his left foot. It's that's the problem. Like when you're that good with your left foot, because we have seen him score some absolute bangers with his left foot. He's gonna want to always use his left foot, isn't he? And
Yeah, it's quite
I get
predictable, though,
it.
isn't it?
It's very predictable, and obviously teams will be told this, like Million Manu's only going to use his left foot, so just press him onto his right foot, and he's not going to know what to do with it. And teams have clocked on, haven't they?
I was just going to say it's similar with the cut inside, have a crack at the near post as well. When that's coming, it's like every time. So yeah, mix it up a bit, Millie.
Mix it up a little bit. It'd be probably a decent idea, as you said there. Right. So while tonight was good, 1-0. That puts us. Where does that put us in the table now, Sam?
So we are now 19th in the table on the same points as Oxford on 20th position, sorry, with minus 13 goal difference. Oxford on minus 17 and Cardiff below them are minus 21. The team that we need to watch out for, I think, on a similar goal difference to us at minus 12 is Derby County, to
Mm.
be honest with you. Um,
Just because they're on a roll, aren't they? A little bit, and we've got to play that last game of the season versus Derby away is going to be tough, I think. Let's cast our minds back, if we will, to the Coventry game because we may as well just talk about that whilst we're here. It was an unhappy return to the stadium for Robbins, but only just. right? Only just. And again, part down to 7 minutes added time in that game. I mean, 7 minutes added time in that game, 10 minutes tonight. That's ridiculous. There was no way, no way was there 10 minutes stoppages. No way. But anyway, that's just sour grapes for me because they did score in something like the 96th minute or something like that. And it was really deflating to get back into the game at 2-2. Martin, did you watch the Coventry game?
I did indeed watch the Coventry game, and it was frustrating. I mean, the first half, I thought we were going to get I thought we were going to get turned over, to be honest. Like, it was so frustrating to watch, just giving goals away. And like the first goal, a long throw, it was just so pathetic. No one picked up the guy. Kumas just let him run off and just stood there like, oh, whoops, whoopsie. Like no one seemed to be taking it seriously. It was frustrating as hell. And then I don't know what happened to Coventry, to be honest. They just went off the boil in the second half. Like suddenly they seemed to lose it. Stoke started playing properly. Sure enough, got back into it, and I was texting my cousin going, I didn't see this coming. Like, I fully expected us to take a pint, and then that goal at the end was just horrible, horrid. That's the only way I can describe it. And then, yeah, then I went to bed at like
Then you went to bed at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever
yeah,
it was.
it was hard.
When you look at the goals that we conceded in that game, what is it? Do you think it's a lack of? Do you think it's a lack of player ability? Do you think it's a lack of concentration? What's causing some of these goals? Because you just pointed out Kumas there, like he wasn't tracking his runner, and that last and the second goal that they scored, Coventry, this is second goal that Coventry scores. If you watch it back, Berger doesn't track his runner,
Mm.
and then for the final goal, we seem to have 2 or 3 Stoke players close to the ball, but they didn't seem to just move to put themselves in the way of the ball. I can't remember. I think one of the defenders launched at it, but Beijing Ho didn't, and it was almost like he kind of just stopped and was like, "Well, not today." Do you think this is one of the reasons why Stoke find themselves in this place that we are fighting at the bottom of the table, Sam?
I think
You've mentioned
defensive.
passion before, haven't you? So you've mentioned passion before. Do you think passion or concentration, or do you think it's the same thing?
I think we've had defensive issues for the majority of the season. I don't think it's anything new to talk about. I think we could talk about this all day. I think the defending at Stoke has been absolutely shocking this season, and we need to see it's either passion. I don't know. I've mentioned passion before. That was more aimed at the whole team, not just the defending, but passion. Confidence, I think, is a massive thing that our defenders don't have. I think they put too much confidence in the goalkeeper, so they think, "Oh, right, let the keeper make the save." And I've said it before, and I hate to say it, but ability.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, ability is there. You mentioned the defenders. I think the ones that we were talking about though, they're midfielders, aren't they? They're midfielders, and they're not concentrating at times in this Stoke squad. This Stoke squad they're not awful. I just I just wish that for 90 minutes every game, and I know it's not too much to ask, that they just concentrate. Concentrate, you professional footballers, concentrate from the start of the match to the end. That would be what I'd say. I mean, but then that's just me grumbling. But it was a better performance tonight. What was the difference, Martin? What was the difference tonight for you between maybe that first half in the Coventry game and the match tonight? What was the difference for you, or what were the key differences? Do you think it was personnel, or do you think it was formation, or what?
I just think we were on it tonight more as a team than we were as Coventry, Coventry in the first half. Because we have got defensive problems. Like Sam was saying before, the defenders aren't great. And also, when you're in a set piece situation or, defenders are out of position, you've got to rely on the other players in the team. And players like Beijing Ho, we've mentioned, players like Kumars, they're just not that way inclined. They just don't think defensively. And therefore, you rely on only your defenders who, like Sam was saying, aren't great. But luckily we've got a great keeper. But I think tonight, in comparison, we just played much more better team, much more intense. There was more of a press as well. So, the not so great defense have got a bit more time to get themselves in order, in time to think because we're already pressing. So they've got that recovery time because the forward players are pressing, like Al Hamidi was great at pressing. Beijing, to be fair, pressing. They were all pressing basically. So perhaps not the best at defending, but then at least they were pressing, which is almost a form of defense in itself. So that was great tonight, was to see them actually having a go and pressing and actually, like Mark Robbins keeps saying, actually running, not just run.
Yeah.
I mean, he says against Coventry, the stats were through the roof. So, so it's hard. Maybe it's just our point of view. I don't know, but then
I feel for Mark Robbins sometimes. I think sometimes he's let down by individual performances at times. I think we've mentioned there some players that didn't track their runners in the game before. Tonight, I was pleasantly surprised at the reaction from the players. I tell you who else I quite liked tonight. I thought Bocat. Having Bocat back in the team. This is Bocat's first start for a while, I believe. Obviously, he came off in the 70th minute or something like that because he cramped up. I thought it was good that Bocat was on because on that left-hand side, I thought it gave us a little bit more going forward. It gave us a bit more energy. Granted, okay, he's sometimes a little bit shaky defensively, but so's Chamadou on that right-hand side. But what they give you is they do give you a nice bit of width, overlapping, getting down the wings and giving our wingers an extra outlet. Now, Robbins has mentioned a couple of times, I think, about some sort of squad rebuild or players not necessarily stepping up to the mark. I just want to get your thoughts, Martin, because obviously we've not had you on the show before. This squad that we've got moving forward, granted tonight's game, do you think it needs a full rebuild? Do you think the players that we've got there are good enough? What's your thoughts on it, and what's the thoughts of the Australian fan base down there on that?
I don't know. I'm not sure about the Australian the Australian fan base, but I think from my point of view, we don't want to do another rebuild. It doesn't seem to end well. We did like a really big rebuild under Alex Neil, which didn't work out. And I think that's because, to be fair, I was chatting to a few people over here in Australia about how many players Stoke bought that season, and jaws were dropping. It was just mental. Like we bought 20 odd players or something. I don't know what it was, but it was crazy. And it just
No,
didn't
you're
work
right.
out.
Sam's mentioned this before.
Yeah, like the team just did. We're not a team for the first 10 games. They didn't know how to play together. We're still buying players like at the last minute as well, adding more on top. So I definitely don't think we need a rebuild. We have got some good players. I'm confident Mark Robin's gonna make some good choices in terms of swapping out the right components. I worry about the striker situation, to be honest, because either we can't afford them or they don't want to come or unless they're on loan or whatever it is. But like I'm like I'm sure you've heard this from lots of Stoke supporters. I feel like we haven't had a good striker for as long as I can remember. Like unless they've been on loan. We had Cannon on loan, we've got Al Hamidi on loan. They're both good, but they're not getting Cannon wouldn't have stuck around, I don't think, unless we've got him on loan again. Same deal with Al Hamidi as well. So I worry about that. I don't know. I don't know what to say there because it seems to be whatever striker Stoke buys. They can't strike at Stoke, then they go to another team and they can. They just can't get it right for some reason. Like I don't know if they can't buy the right striker for the team, but that's a tricky problem to solve. But anyway, I'm rambling off topic a bit. In answer
Oh
to your
no, go
question,
for it.
no, I don't think they need a rebuild. Don't want another disaster like we had under Alex Neil. We have got some good players. Like, I can list them off. We need to stop changing the manager.
Mm.
If we do go down, I'm getting full rant mode now. If we do go down, Walters needs to be sacked because I feel like half of the situation this season's been created by him tooling around with the manager. And I think he should be accountable if we get relegated, not Robbins. So no, I mean, I think the team isn't bad. I don't think it's half bad. It's just we need to stick to the same manager, trust one, swap out a few bits and pieces, and I think we can build on what we've got. We've got some decent players like Johansson, classic one.
Mm.
Berger's been brilliant. Baker, if he sticks around, is being good. I've been impressed with Pearson since he's come back. I was a bit gutty when he went off, to be honest. I think that upset the apple cart a bit, like
Mm.
against Coventry. So he's been good. So yeah, we have got some
Hey,
good players.
hey, Martin, don't ever apologise for rambling on this show, mate. I'm telling you, this is the whole point of Stoke Fan TV, especially if you're living in Australia and nobody knows who Stoke are at all. Do you know what I mean? You go down and try and have a chat with them, and they're like, "Who are they, man? I've never heard of them in my life." Is that decent? That's a terrible impression. Terrible accent,
Yeah.
wasn't it? That, but you know what I mean. It, don't ever apologise for rambling. As I said, it's part of the show. Sam and I have done it far too often, haven't we, Sam?
Yes, we have indeed.
He says that with a grimace on his face or huffing. Sam, I know we're running out of time, but just quickly to echo that, do you think these things that when he talks about squad rebuild, are you
Yeah,
thinking something similar to Martin, or do you think we do need to rebuild? Well, on.
I completely agree with everything he said about the rebuild failing under Alex Neil. But if you look at the current team that we've got, and you take away the loan players, Moran Al Hamadi and
Everybody
any
else,
others,
Kumas,
Kumas,
Phillips.
yeah, that's it. We still need a minimum of 10 signings this season coming up. Like, I know
Mm.
it's not a big rebuild, but we still need a minimum of 10 new players coming in. And I can't see Berger staying because Berger got a bid coming on deadline day in January from a bigger team than Stoke. They're going to come back for him in the summer. Stoke are going to have longer to replace him. I can't see Berger staying. So we're going to need to replace the centre mid again. We need a new defence anyway, and we need a new striker. So yeah, we don't need a rebuild, but we need basically a new team. So it sort of is a bit of a rebuild, but it isn't full rebuild.
It's part rebuild, is what you're saying. And we've also
Yeah.
got players that are coming out of contract, haven't we? Got quite a few, I believe. I know Baker's coming out of contract. Just mentioned Baker there, Martin. He's coming out of contract. Would you offer him a new contract, I guess?
Uh, it's a tricky one because, like, yeah, based on what he's been like since he's come back, I think you'd say yes. You might give him one just for that goal, just in case he does it again.
Well, he looked bloody good tonight in that number 10 position. I think.
Yeah,
I think he looked better than Moran did in the Coventry game.
yeah,
Definitely.
and he just kind of had a dip in performance, didn't he? Like from memory, I feel like some of the Stoke fans were getting on his back a bit as well. And then he opted for the loan at Blackburn. But no, I think I would. I think I would. I'd take a chance on him, but I don't look at the wage bill. I haven't got the balance sheet. I don't know how much of the budget that would use up, to be honest, like to keep him. But then, yeah, I mean, just like that, would I keep him on the back of him being a good player? Yeah, for sure I would, because he is a good player. He can really strike the ball. Look at that pass tonight, first time. You mentioned it earlier on, Max. Like, he is a good player.
Superb. Well, I think I know we're getting a bit tight on time now, chaps. So we're going to wrap it up. What we'll have to do is when we get a bit closer to the end of the season and Stoke's fate has been decided by the gods of football, we will reconvene, I think, and we will discuss all these players that are out. Because probably was way more. I think so. I think Tesco was another one's out of contracts. I keep hearing just randomly off random people sometimes. Oh, did you know that contract at the end of the season? I'm like, who isn't out of contract? Who isn't on loan? What is going on? But that's something I think for a later date. I think we'll wrap it up now, chaps. Martin, I just want to say thanks very much for coming on the show, mate. All the way from sunny Melbourne. Though you said it's not sunny today.
Not today, no, but it's nice to have a break from it. It's like this. We moan about different things.
It's nice to have a break from the sun. Yeah. Well, you'll be pleased to know it's nice and sunny, or it has been nice and sunny at times over here in the UK. Though we're expecting a cold patch. Surprise, surprise. Right. Anyway, gentlemen, Sam, thanks for joining me. Oh, he brought his pooch in as well, Martin, hasn't he? So we'll wrap it up. And how we do this, Martin, I don't know if you've seen, but I say it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
There you go. He's seen the show. He knows the crack. Thanks for coming on, everybody. Remember, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video, you may as well give us a like and a subscribe whilst you're there. And if you want to come on the show yourself, you know what to do. Drop us an email, sftv@dancefiremedia.com, or find us on Facebook and ping us a message, and we will try and get you on the show, no matter where you are in the world. No matter where you are. I mean, look, we've got Martin, who's sitting there in Melbourne on the show right now. You could be in Alaska, you could be in Timbuktu. We'd work our way through. We'd get you on. We'd get you on. We're Stoke Fan TV, baby. It's what we do. It's what we do. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you all soon on another podcast episode of Stoke Fan TV.